So I have been a busy bee this holiday season. We've done all kinds of DIY home decor. We even finished my fireplace wall on the last episode. So now I am all ready to decorate for Christmas. I've got the fireplace going. I'm gonna crank some Christmas music. So let's get started. This wall was such a cave before. It was a blank slate. It was really dark in this room, really heavy. It was not cute. And after Christmas in January, we're gonna kind of finish out this living room, possibly get some new furniture, new sofa, we'll see. And definitely a new TV wall, new TV stand situation, and just kind of some final details to really get it looking good. I want this to be a place where I really wanna spend time. So we're gonna start with a Christmas tree. Okay, before we get too far, I'm gonna go ahead and decorate the Christmas tree. I am so excited, and we're gonna be going with kind of a snowflake theme. I live in Florida, but in my living room, it's gonna snow because when I think of Christmas, I think of snow. Snow is what I'm used to, and we're gonna create it. Now, I've done a couple of how I decorate my tree tutorials, so I'm not gonna be doing a tutorial on it. We're just gonna decorate. We're gonna just crank up some Christmas music and have a little fun, and I hope you enjoy. All right, so you guys have been asking for me to decorate my mantle for Christmas, and that's what we're doing. But first, I partnered with Cricut to bring you 3 quick DIYs to really set this off right. And the first one is, it's all about the mantle, so stockings. In this episode, I showed you how to hack your way to some fur-trimmed sweater stockings with the little fur pom-poms on it. I actually purchased some just because I was short on time. And so I got these ones that I'm using off of Amazon, but then I added the trim and the pom-poms like you saw me do in that video. But I really wanted to up the ante just a little bit and add a name tag. So that's what we're gonna do now. Now this is actually pretty easy to do, and even though I am using a miter saw, you could easily do this with a miter box by hand if you wanted. All I'm doing is making some small 45-degree cuts on the edges of some 3x6-inch craftwood pieces that I got in a package of 6 from Walmart for very inexpensive. Then I just take my drill and drill a hole big enough to string some twine through in just a second. Then we sand off any rough spots, and now we have some tags to attach to our stockings. I stained these in a briarwood gel stain, which actually matches our fur trim really closely. Then I let that dry while I cut out our stencils. Now, I normally do a Cricut Design Studio tutorial on these Cricut sponsored videos. However, my screen camera did not want to cooperate with me. So for that, I apologize this time. We'll try to get it resolved for next time. If you are interested in the font that I used, it's actually called Misty Cotton, and I downloaded it from dafont.com. And you can actually find all of your downloaded fonts under the system fonts in Cricut Design Studio. After applying our vinyl to the wood tags, I didn't want the paint to bleed, and normally what I do to solve this is paint the underneath color, but since it's stained, I decided to use a matte Mod Podge instead to seal the edge. Once that's dry, I use 2 coats of ivory chalk paint to paint on our names. And then I peel back the stencil and slip some twine through the hole, and we can tie it onto our stockings. And I am so excited. Did you know today is my birthday and you got me a gift? That was so nice of you. If you want to see what it is and open it up with me, then stick with me to the very end. So my next DIY is a Silent Night, Holy Night art piece. I start with some scrap wood from my board and batten wall build. This is called Masonite and it's very inexpensive and lightweight. You can get a 4 by 8 foot sheet for around $8 or $9. Our dimensions are 24 by 42 inches. I just paint the entire thing out in a white chalk paint and let that dry. Then I created a stencil that says Silent Night, Holy Night using Times New Roman font and homework font. And I made it as big as the Cricut machine would let me cut without doing anything special, which you've seen me do before, measuring 11.5 by 23.5 inches. After I apply my stencil, I seal the edges with white chalk paint, and then I go over the top of that with 2 coats of black chalk paint. Now I let that dry and then I peel back the stencil. Now we need a frame, and I wanted to miter the corners, and for that I'm going to use my power saw, so meet me outside. Alright, so we made our sign with scrap wood, which is awesome because then that's free, but even if you had to buy this, Masonite stuff is so cheap. And so I just picked up some inexpensive molding now to trim it out and make it look really nice. And I'm going to show you how to do a quick miter frame. So this is a compound sliding miter saw. You could do this with just a regular miter saw, and you can also do it with a miter box if you don't have a powered saw. And it's actually pretty easy to do. We're just gonna loosen up this handle, push the button down and slide it to the 45-degree angle that we want, and then you hear it click into place, and then you know it's good. And then we can just tighten this up. So here we go. Okay, so 45-degree cut. We're gonna just go lay this out and just make our mark. So we're gonna line that up with the top here. So we've lined it up on that end, and then over here, we're gonna just mark where it needs to end. This is really scientific, people. And then I kind of estimate the angle just to remind myself when I'm over at the saw to cut it the right direction. So we're gonna go make that cut. Okay, so these are our 2 side pieces, and I just kind of put them next to each other to make sure that they line up over here. Make sure we line it up, and then we just need to make some for right here on the top and the bottom. Put this one over the top of it, and then make our mark from that. Kind of make our line where we're gonna miter. So I'm sure that finished carpenters everywhere just let out a collective no for my very not exact measurements, but it works for me. So do what you want, take measurements if you want, but I'm just gonna do my method. So that was not too hard. It worked out great, even though I cheated and didn't do it probably the way a carpenter would do it. It's perfect, honestly. So all we need to do is, there are a little bit of splinters and stuff here, so we'll just kind of sand off these edges a little bit, and then I am going to take some antiquing wax because I like the color of it for this project, and it dries super fast, so that will be perfect for my time frame. And so that's worked good. And then we're gonna just take some E6000 and hot glue and glue it into place, and we are golden. If you remember this sign from the Spring Trash to Treasure, but on the back side it was blank, and so I've always wanted a Christmas tree farm sign, and so we're gonna flip it over and do one on the back. To get started, I just take our sign out of the ledge sitter and set that aside. If you want to see how I made this sign originally, I will link that episode down below. It's a good one. But this is the thing that I really want you to remember about using a Cricut machine. That is, you don't have to be a designer or even a graphic designer to use it. Anyone can use it. There are plenty of ready-to-cut images that you can track down out there, that like this one, for purchase or even free. I just found this image ready to go on Etsy for a couple of bucks, and all I needed to do was download it, adjust the size, and it was good to cut. I will link this image that I used down below. To get a nice crisp edge, I always like to seal my edges with the original color underneath, so when it bleeds the original color. It just is such a good hack, which in my case was just a white chalk paint. Once that dries, you can pick out whatever color combination you want. And I picked out originally a black and 2 shades of green. But you'll notice that in just a second that I decided to go back in and change the Christmas tree word into black. I just decided that I wanted everything black except for the Christmas trees on this one. And if you do decide to change the color, make sure you do that prior to pulling back the stencil, because it would be really hard to line everything up again. So I have found that using these makeup sponges from the Dollar Tree work really well for this type of work, and they are super cheap, especially in comparison to buying a whole bunch of sponge brushes. I don't even feel bad when I toss them when I'm done. Once you're done painting, simply peel back the stencil, and sometimes that comes up in one piece and sometimes it breaks up into little pieces. I found it does this more when you have like a lot of fine work that you're trying to peel it back. And this is where your little pointy hook comes into play. Now it's time to decorate the mantle. I've been dying to do this pretty much my whole adult life, so I'm excited for this. But I didn't want to screw any screws into our mantle, but I have a solution that I think you're gonna really like. So I do have 2 stocking hangers. These were just kind of in my stash. I picked them up at a thrift store many years ago, and they were brass, and I originally spray painted them oil rub bronze and put some crystals on it, and they just kind of got beat up over the years. So I took them outside and sprayed them in some fresh black paint that kind of echoes our light fixtures up there, as well as some other elements. So I think this will work out really good. And all we're gonna do is put them right here on either side, okay? You following me here? And we're gonna hang our stockings from a curtain rod. So before I show you the stockings, they turned out so cute. I just slid them on to this curtain rod, and we're gonna just slide this curtain rod inside the hook on either side. This will work, I promise. I'll pretty this up, but basically you've got a curtain rod hanging your stockings from. No nail hooks, nothing. No command hooks that might not be strong enough to hold stuff. This is solid, and no nail holes. I'm totally obsessed with these stocking tags. They're so cute, and making them with a Cricut was so easy. Now we're gonna start decorating our mantle. So we're gonna bring my cathedral window that I made in this episode out. We'll kind of play around with the arrangement of everything, but this is just a wreath that I got off of Amazon. I'll link it below. And then all I've done is taken some flocked Christmas sprigs and just shoved it in this everyday wreath. And that mixing and matching of the eucalyptus and the flocked branches really gives it a Christmassy feel and a designer touch. So now I'm done with my Silent Night art, and I am ready to place it, and it's so cute. And now it's time to do our greenery. And what I was thinking here is I want to do kind of something asymmetrical. Since we have this big, huge Christmas tree right here, I want some weight on this side of the room now. So I'm gonna do that by starting our greenery on this side and then dropping it down this side to add some visual weight. I just have an assortment of greenery, and I'm going to use that assortment of greenery to kind of mix and match and get the length that I want, and also add texture and variety. And then you can use the branches of each other to twist them onto one another, if that makes sense, to kind of hold them and secure it into place. But I really am happy with how this mantle greenery turned out. Okay, and then I have a whole bunch of an assortment of greenery. We may not use all of it, but I want to really kind of build up this area a little bit and just tuck this in here and there. So we'll just get going with this. And so here's our finished Christmas tree sign. I would love to do a huge one at some point, but for now this is a good one. I love this, it's so cute, and we're gonna just put it up on our shelf now. I'm gonna just finish up a few things, clean up, and then I'm gonna show you the finished room. I'm so excited. It's feeling so winter wonderlandish. All right, so what do you think? I have been working so hard to get my fireplace and my side shelves all built just for this moment. And I am telling you, it fulfilled every one of my expectations and hopes and dreams. I just absolutely adore my Christmas setup this year. There's a couple of little small things that I would change. I might do a furniture swap out and some drape changes, but other than that, I just adore what we did here. And I want to thank Cricut for sponsoring this video. I don't know if you noticed it, but we've been doing some Cricut projects throughout this Christmas holiday season. And I have 9 total Cricut projects featured here, and I adore each and every one of them. If I would have paid retail cost for all of these projects, the cost of that would more than cover the expense of a Cricut machine. And that's the thing. Over time, a Cricut machine more than pays for itself, and it's so easy to use and so much fun as well. If a Cricut machine is on your Christmas wish list, there is a link in my description box below. All right, so now it's time to open my birthday gift from you guys, and let's see what it is. I'm just a terror. I'm not one of those that opens it up pretty. I wonder what it could be. It is my silver play button. It says, presented to Design to the Nines for passing 100,000 subscribers. So without you, I would not have this right now and be doing my absolute dream job. I love what I do. So thank you so much for my wonderful birthday gift. It's probably the best one yet, I'd have to say. That was pretty good. If you enjoyed this episode, here's another one that I think you'll like as well. And to all of my DIY Niners, I just want to tell you, you are more powerful than you know. We'll see you next time. Bye.